Greetings and welcome to the Gaming Codex, the show right to explain to you all the terms relating to video games and the gaming industry. Today's term is gamification. You may wonder what exactly that is. Well, according to the dictionary, gamification is the process of adding games or game-like elements to something such as a task so as to encourage participation. It sounds harmless enough. It's a method by which you assign elements of game design to real-world situations. This is something that's been actually going on with human society for a long time. Take school, for example. In school, you get grades for, the work you do, the lessons you learn, the exams you take. You get a score. And if you get a good one, well, people around you will be happy and you will continue to be absolutely miserable because school today is kind of horrible. But gamification extends beyond this simple approach to determine someone to participate, to engage into an activity, into a task, into basically doing work. Sure, you could very well entice a person to do so with money or, something tangible that's rewarding for them as well and useful and necessary, like food, but that's not really working out for some people. So instead, gamification adds extra rewards, made-up rewards, and imposes rules, made-up rules on certain scenarios to sort of encourage approaching a task like it was a game. For example, let's say you have to write a really long presentation. To gamify that, every 1,000 words, you get an achievement, a sticker, a star, a something. Sure, it's absolutely worthless in the long term and in the short term, and honestly, it's kind of laughable, but if you get enough people working together that believe that the gamification actually has any value, then they will be encouraged to compete with each other or collaborate in order to compete with another team in order to get the best possible result, the best score. And in a small way, this sort of lessens the impact of realizing you're doing something incredibly boring and monotonous, because you're not focused on the task anymore, you're focused on the immediate fake reward. That's not money. And why isn't it money? Because money, is expensive. It costs money to give money to people who do work. It's easier to just give them fake things that have no meaning or purpose. But some companies that do employ gamification elements in their day-to-day operations sometimes include actual rewards, tangible ones, money, to that score. Now, what is the popular definition of gamification? Well, that would be a what? Gamification is not what you would call a very popular or well-known element being used to increase the efficiency of people. Some believe that it doesn't function, that it can't really convince someone to be more engaged with their work since you're giving them fake rewards. But that's not true. You absolutely can convince someone to do better by giving them small encouragements from time to time, be it at a preset moment or randomly throughout the day, to make sure that they're always on their feet, always doing their best, because they may get a "hey, you're not doing a horrible job, keep it up" from time to time. Or "here's a sticker, we can't actually pay you money, but hey, that sticker is gonna be worth something someday." And if you think to yourself, well, gamification won't work on me, well, here's the thing, it's not like hypnotism. It's not a fake thing that you have to agree with to go along with it for it to work. Gamification ties a bit to your subconscious, to your need for approval, your need for a reward, for some little dopamine at the end of a simple completed task. And if you don't think that applies to you, well, have you played any mobile games? Because they're all based on the same thing. They have boring-ass, repetitive, nonsensical, stupid gameplay when they have gameplay, but the screen shines and glows and sparkles and coins fly everywhere and you get rewarded every 5 minutes. A great example of gamifying something that people don't actually like was Pokemon Go, a game that managed to gamify walking around, actually going out of your house and exercising a bit, which is something that the fat asses who usually like Pokemon will never ever do on their own. You couldn't even pay them to do it, but slap a Pokemon on it, spread them around across town, and voila, you get fit, socializing, property vandalizing, people in their 30s who still haven't figured out that Digimon was a much better show, and that the Pokemon games are just awful. But because of the constant rewards, the leveling up, the sense that you're achieving something, you don't realize it. Much like being stuck in a dead-end job for a decade, but because you get sometimes a promotion, it's just a name and doesn't really come with anything attached to it, you think to yourself, well, you know, maybe this is worth it. And it's not. Which brings us to the marketing definition. And that would be Skinner boxes for your employees, making them work more for less. The Skinner box is an experiment, sort of an evolution of Pavlov's experiment with a dog. But instead of the dog drooling when a light came on, he had a pigeon pressing a button in the hopes that it will get food. And because it realized it would get food after pressing the button for some time, it would continually press the button to get more food. It chose to press the button. It believed in pressing the button. Much like people working for big-ass companies believe that getting stickers or stars or scores or points and not actual money is a reward in itself. I'm not saying they shouldn't put in 100%, but let's face it, if you actually liked your job and it wasn't the mind-numbingly boring-ass process that could probably be taken over by a machine which you probably already designed in your spare time, you'd be doing it at 100% anyway. But with gamification, you sort of get brainwashed into thinking you will like your work. You don't, you just like the seldom rewards, which is kind of the definition of a job anyway. So closes this Gaming Codex. Come back next time when we will talk about a more technical term. Goodbye.